So as I'm, starting part one uploading, I look at my camera is still on and I'm looking at my picture and I can see like dog hair and like I just cleaned out my closet like last week and I'm kind of mad because I didn't want to do it. And so the boxes are like sitting back there until I feel like I want to have a garage sale. And I have a Siberian Husky that is exploding hair everywhere. So yeah, sorry. Anyhow, back on, getting started, and I was explaining to you, the tools are aids for beginners. As you get further and further into the craft, you will realize that you don't need tools, or you'll, unless you want to make it, unless you really just like the ritual. Like I said, I do rituals on the Sabbats, sometimes Esbats. It just depends on, what I'm doing, moon phase, what I'm trying to accomplish, things like that. But more often than not, it is a mental, emotional thing for me. Directing energy, I use my projective hand because I've just, I've been down the buy all the crap road, and I mean, I probably have $1,000 altar, and I use it 8 times a year. So it's just kind of like, maybe I'm not advanced enough to really know what I'm supposed to be doing with it, but I don't really feel like that. I kind of feel that I'm just advancing, which is where I want to move on into the second part of my conversation here, advanced witchcraft. I'm a witch. I think I explained, I'm not a Wiccan. I am a witch. And I do follow, like a Wiccan Wheel of the Year, but I don't own the term Wiccan because I explained that in my last video last week. So here's the thing. I was having a conversation with a fellow witch last night, and there was one thing, that we had started talking about is, there's this topic of advanced witchcraft. You've bought all these books and you've read all of them. You get the basics, you've gotten started. You've got your Athame and your Boline, but you don't have an herb garden, and you're just like, what's going on? Now what? I get the Sabbats. I've read why each Sabbat is for what. I know, I've memorized the dates of the Sabbats. I know the directions. I know the color correspondences. I know all this stuff. Now what? Well, here's the thing. There is no advanced witchcraft. No. There is no advanced witchcraft. You master the basics and then you march to your own beat. A lot of the stuff and a lot of the reason, I think there's a handful of books out about advanced Wicca, but you're not going to find anything useful. None. You have to find your own niche. You have to take the knowledge that you learned as a beginner. You have to ask more questions. You have to put your it's your personal spiritual journey at this point. We are not here to teach you what you're supposed to believe. We are here to help you find your own path. And it's not a hand-holding religion. I'm not going to take you to Sunday school or any witch. None of us do that. It is not that kind of a thing. And I think that's where I kind of, fell off for a while is, I was marching to my own beat info. I joined a coven thinking that I was going to get advanced witchcraft. And you know what happened? I learned a few things, but I found myself having to, sit in the same stuff. Like, I know why this Sabbath is this Sabbath. Why, and there was no way, the other coven members were just, they didn't know this stuff. And I kind of did. So it wasn't, I didn't know everything. I definitely didn't know as much now as I did when I first joined the coven, but a great deal of it I did. And, I can't, it was like starting over. I feel like you join a coven, and then you expect to learn some deep, dark secret of witchcraft, and you realize you're sitting in on a beginner's course. That's what I bought all those books about. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like advanced witchcraft is almost a non-existent thing. What's advanced about it is your personal touch, your own journey through this path. That's what's personal about it. That's what's advanced about it. The fact that you learn things about yourself, the fact that you've woken up to certain things around you, things that make sense. It's not anything to do with some secret that Raymond Buckland didn't publish. It's not anything like that. And personally, I'd be leery of anybody that says, my grandmother initiated me at age 7 by cutting my ball sack. Like, really? You don't do, it's not that thing. And it's marching to your own beat, honestly. So advanced witchcraft doesn't exist. Your own tradition and what you make of your life and your journey, that exists. And that's what's advanced. Now, I know that I talked about, I mentioned a couple of times on the page that I would have a discussion on Christian witches. That's going to have to be a topic I save for another day, because that's something that I have to research more myself. I'll give you my personal spin on it. I was raised Methodist, and I'm one that had a good Christian experience, a good Protestant Christian experience, and there just wasn't, they just weren't those bigoted Christians. They weren't, or they're not fundamentalist fundies. It was just a great church. The people there were just good people. It's one thing when you get a whole bunch of racist people in a Baptist church. Not saying Baptists are racist, they're not. I'm saying that I've seen a Baptist church be a little racist and bigoted. Westboro. Anyhow, a bunch of people get around and they start spreading these awful details, or they're like, you know what? This gay person spit in my food, so God hates gays. Yeah, that's how that happens, and people buy into it. But anyhow, this was a good church. This was a good Texas church, and one thing, I'll give a credit to my former coven, is that there was a Bible verse. I think that you can find connections within Christianity and witchcraft. And I thought I had my iPad here somewhere. But this is the only connection that I've found so far, is that there is a verse. Let's see, Bible verse. I may not be able to do it right now, but there are certain predictions in the Bible. and one was about the age of Aquarius. And as soon as I heard about the age of Aquarius, I was immediately like, that's Yule 2012. Like, age of Aquarius has got to be, for me. Now, the topic is debatable. Some say that the age of Aquarius isn't starting for hundreds of more years, 300 to 500 more years. But, and that's good. They're entitled to their opinion. Hell, they might even be right. But to me, the age of Aquarius started Yule 2012. And that was the end of the Mayan calendar. Because I didn't think the world was going to explode. No, I thought, to me, we shifted into a new age. And we're going to start seeing much more acceptance of people. It may still take hundreds of years, but immediately right off the bat, what do we get? We get legalization of marijuana. We get, in 2 states, just 2, but it's a start. We get actual discussion about equal rights for gay couples and gay marriage. Right off the bat, we're getting all this stuff starting. And there's a verse that pertains to that in the Bible about, following the water bearer. And I can't think of it right now, and I'm not going to waste your time looking up the Bible verse. But if you want to look up the verse for yourself, it's the one about following the man bearing water through the gate. And the way it was explained to me was that if you look at a horoscope wheel, and the houses, the lines that divide the houses in the horoscope wheel are gates. So if you're following the guy bearing water through the gate, you're essentially moving from Pisces to Aquarius because you're following the water bearer. And that's a biblical reference. And I don't put too much stock in the Bible myself, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something to be learned. I just don't do that. That's an interesting tidbit that I found, or actually that was pointed out to me, but I don't know. I think it'd be pretty difficult. I think you can be a Christian witch. I just read an article before I made this video about Christian Wiccans, and it was the author was pretty straightforward about saying you can be a Christian witch, but you can't be a Christian Wiccan. But I have a big problem with that just because, I had an encounter with, like I said in last week's video, I had an encounter with British traditional Wiccans telling me I wasn't Wiccan. So when I'm reading that video, I'm seeing it and they're like, you can't be a Christian Wiccan. You can be a Christian witch, but you can't be a Christian Wiccan. I kind of felt like she was saying that, and I can only imagine how somebody who calls himself a Christian Wiccan would feel reading that. Probably like slapping a bitch, because that's how I felt when I got told I wasn't Wiccan by a British traditional. However, this is a topic that I got to do more research in. I know that there's Santeria, and I need to look at Haitian voodoo, and I need to look at that kind of stuff, and I need to see that, because I know especially in Santeria that, see, I don't roll my R's well, just forgive me, that there is, that's a sort of Christian witchcraft. So I've really got to look into that. I felt like I knew enough, but then when I sat down and stared at the computer and turned on my camera, I was like, shit, I don't know anything about this. I need to really look at this. So, but I hope that I had a, good 2-part video for you today, and I hope I didn't rant too long. I'm feeling better. I'm going to kick out some more tarot readings because obviously it's fabulous for my soul. I feel so much better, and I'm getting to know you people, and I really kind of felt like, avoiding the readings was giving me a block, but I'm not going to be that way anymore, and love you. Bye.